morning, good morning, good morning.
I love you, baby. Why?
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I love you, baby. Why?
Time to get up and move your body.
It's above supreme.
Season
Wake
7 full effect. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Check 1 2 1 2.
Is this thing on? Hello. Do you feel me in your ear holes?
What's up? What's up?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, live at 85.
Hey.
All right. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check, check. All things go. How's it looking over there, boss?
I think we good to go. Tech all right.
All right. The tech is teching.
Tech is teching. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Self, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
You chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, January 17th. Second day of season 7 is going down right now. So appreciate everybody coming on in and getting ready for this discussion. I'm seeing I got a little, I don't know what's going on with this tech here. Something's going on with Restream, so bear with us. It's always some kind of like a little bit of weird I don't know. Tech be teching. That's all I know.
I see Anthony Rogers Wright coming in morning from Columbia. Okay.
Say what?
Okay.
Wow. Well, that's what's up, bro. He's Afro-Colombian siblings. That's what's going on, man. Appreciate you coming on in this morning from so far away. That's what's happening.
Yeah. What time is it there? Jeez. yeah. Let us know, man. Let us know. And how's campaign trail? Yeah, how's things going?
Yeah.
Brother Anthony Rogers Wright. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Hey, there it is. Love Supreme.
Yes. Love Supreme. Season 7. So, yeah. Top of the morning, man. How's it going?
Yeah, let us know how the campaign's going too, man. Definitely want to know what's happening. Been thinking about trying to follow it around a little bit, even, man. You know, get to some of these cities that you guys are hitting and coming on out and checking it out. So, yeah, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what's going on. On that. Meantime, between time, over here on the radio channel, appreciate everybody that got up early to check out First Sky Omaha in the morning. The listen button, yeah, man. So. Let us know how the 6:30 minutes you call it the Club 6:30.
Yep. Club 6:30. You got it.
That's what's up. Let us know. How you doing today, buddy? What's going on, man?
Kind of got hunkered down with some hoopty crew problems yesterday, man. Dealing with vehicles still. Yeah, man. Had to actually did find a hookup though. We always talk about that hookup culture, like especially with housing. But man, it seems like just anything to get anything done nowadays, you gotta, if you don't have a hookup, you're gonna have to, pay an arm and a leg. Just about everything. So yeah, definitely was able to find somebody to help us out with some body work yesterday. So had to put one of the cars in the shop, dealing with that, going back and forth.
Man, as much as you go back and forth with them cars, I'm surprised you don't got several hookups out there by now.
Man, they building. I got a low rider guy. Now I got a mechanic. Now I got a body guy. It's coming together. But hey, it's all about community. It's all about neighborhood resources. All about connecting the dots and leaning on each other. As I always say, we all we got, man. So definitely, praise be to the Most High for some hookups and some helps and some people out there willing to help.
Love it.
So yeah, that's kind of just where my world is right now. And of course, you and I going back and forth, really excited about season 7. We've been talking about some of the upgrades and updates and things we're trying to work on, and we will be experimenting with coming up here very soon over the season. So yeah, man, still energy on high for that. feeling good, feeling great. How are
Love
you?
love it. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm seeing. I'm trying to understand what's going on with this tech here as we go.
Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
see
seeing,
that.
yeah, seeing weird stuff happening here. But I just checked on Facebook and I see a whole bunch of people jumped in the chat. I got Wanda Lewis in the chat. I got Mama God says good morning. First guy Sam.
Hey,
Sue Kessler Hagen gives us a good morning. Wanda Lewis says good morning. Jess Parker says good morning. And then I see Mira Sanchez jumping in the chat. So not really sure
man,
what's going on with the chat on our end here, but it does
that's
look like it's
weird.
going down. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah. We actually don't see anybody in the chat. Brother Anthony Rogers Wright is the only chat I'm seeing. So again, if y'all coming in and we're not responding, yeah, I guess
yeah.
the tech is not teching right now. I
Tech
don't
ain't
know.
teching
I don't
right.
know.
I see Leg Keister over on YouTube saying what's up Wednesday. See Pops over there saying what a cool track. So
Oh,
yeah,
thank you, thank you.
Mark Manner says good morning, warm Wednesday. Going to be 22 degrees today. Let's talk about that for a minute.
It might be warmer there than it is here, man. It's yeah, it's pretty cold. It's pretty
That's weird.
cold, man. Actually, I got the space heater on like half blast, about
Wow,
60% blast, and quite honestly, I don't feel it right now. Yeah, and
wow.
my heat's on, and my heat's on. Had to have the faucets on drip last night. My son was out of school yesterday. Like it's really hitting hard out here. So again, it seems like it's everywhere.
You said faucets on drip last night. I bet you nobody else in Atlanta know about that faucet on drip.
Well, hopefully they do. Might have woke up to some problems. Might have woke up to some problems.
I
Went to make that coffee and yeah.
I definitely learned that here, so that your pipes don't freeze.
Hmm.
Put that faucet on drip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
You ever turn on the faucet and you hear that like shaking, rumbling, like and pipes get to rumbling? Yeah. Yeah. You don't want that.
you
You don't
don't
want
want that. Looks like Mayor Sanchez is on. He says you keep chitting and chatting, but don't know what's happening.
that. Okay. Okay.
Got bars. He got bars.
T-shirt. T-shirt.
Got bars. I love it. I love it.
Man,
Yeah, man. So you have a little issue here with this. I don't
it's
know what's
weird.
going on with
It's
this.
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Not seeing my peeps.
Try to start it, restop it. You gotta go ahead and open up an instance somewhere else so we can just kind of do that. I did want to talk today. I was looking at the news and found out this is the 30 year. This is kind of for me and the California peeps.
Mm.
30-year anniversary of the Northridge earthquake was today. Is
The
today.
the Northridge earthquake.
The Northridge earthquake, which was pretty much like the biggest disaster earthquake in they say in history.
Hmm.
Not as far as people dead, but as far as money was concerned, most costly earthquake ever. But 71 people died in this earthquake as well. It was one of the biggest. Yeah. 30-year
Man.
anniversary, and of course I was there. I remember that it was kind of like 4:35 in the morning, and you talking about everything you think about when you think about like an earthquake, the world shaking, is what that one felt like. Let me show you some of the pictures here. Like this is the kind of stuff
Man.
that happened, bro. Yeah, like big time, like
Are
uh
those like pipes exploding when
yeah, like yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. The earth
man?
opening up. This is the big stuff here was the overpasses collapsing.
What was the magnitude again?
I think it was 7.2.
Mm,
Yeah, it was the big one.
mm.
Buildings came down everywhere. For the most part, we got shaken up and stuff fell off the walls, bookshelves fell and stuff like that. We were kind of a little bit away from the epicenter, being in the Inland Empire, but but like Boogie, like my cousin Boogie out there in L.A.
Yeah, one
Uh,
of the chat chimers. Yeah,
yeah,
chimes in
oh,
every once in a while.
big time got shook up.
Mm,
LA epicenter got big time shook up. So it's a trip to think back on now. It's probably the biggest one I ever seen. Definitely the biggest one that I ever experienced.
man,
It was crazy. It was crazy.
man.
So so anyway, yeah, just wanted to share that out there and shout out to the California peeps that are remembering that. That are checking the show out and remembering that 30 years ago today, man. Northridge earthquake, one of the biggest ever.
Man.
It's devastating in this country anyway. So yeah, so just thinking about that, just thinking, every place got their something. We just went through this
Yeah,
winter tundra right now that's happening. I felt like it's life threatening the past 3 days.
man. I mean, it's funny hearing you tell your story about the earthquake, making me think. I'm sure some people remember Mama God. I'm sure you remember the blizzard. I don't know what year this was. I think it was like late '90s.
Wow,
Blizzard in Omaha, Nebraska. I remember apple tree almost fell on their house.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was, man, wind was whipping, it was cold, power was off. Yeah, it was a pretty decent blizzard out there. I forget what year it was. I was very, very young, but I remember just looking outside, seeing just the weather kind of doing what it does, being in the dark, having the candles and everything. But yeah, I forget if anybody, again, I was a baby at the time. If anybody has a little clearer memory about that, let me know. Let me know. What year was that? What was that?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Uh, Pop says YouTube seems fine on our end. That's good. I appreciate the info there. Miss Erica
Yep.
Felgus is a good morning. She says I was there talking about that Northridge.
Mm.
Yeah, 1990. She said 1997. I had a 6-month-old baby. Yeah, man, that was a serious situation over there. And I was also that made me think about Omaha and the situation out here when it comes to the tornadoes. Every place got their something, and that 75 tornado, people are still talking about that one ripping through the city.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Every so often you get these kind of earth shaking, earth rattling, devastating Mother Nature events that shake you up, man. Remind you that you're living on a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think hurricane. Like I've not necessarily dealt with the
Oh,
massive hurricane, but kind of the side storms and dealt with that tornadoes, blizzard, but never earthquake, man. I can't really fathom what dealing with an earthquake would be
yeah,
like, man. So definitely peace up to all the IE fam, all the Cali fam that you said memorying on today.
heavily,
Yeah.
big time. We're gonna go ahead and get the show started. I already went past the time we agreed on doing that. Forgot all about it. Thinking about this stuff, but let's go ahead and get the show started. Thanks for joining us. Another fresh edition of
Man,
First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning,
Wednesday, January 17th is going down. Stay tuned. We got lots to talk about coming up.
hump day.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for joining us once again. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Happening is going down. This
Yeah.
is a discussion show. Share the show with as many people as you can so we get as many people in talking. But remember, we're having a little technical difficulty here with the chats, but we're going to try to keep up with them as much as we can. I got a couple of computers and things and a phone in front of me. I'm trying to manage it all. So yeah, we'll do that. It's a good idea, buddy.
Yeah. Just remember, teamwork still makes a dream work.
That's right. So we're gonna make it happen. As a matter of fact, they were Miss Erica Felt was talking about the blizzard of '97 that she
Yeah,
was
man.
getting.
That's when it
That's what
was.
they were talking about. Looks like Jess Parker says the October blizzard of '97, which is crazy. Wanda Lewis says the weather can be manipulated by sound waves as well. Yeah,
Okay.
we want to talk about
Okay, Miss Wanda.
chemtrails and sound waves, man.
Okay, Miss
Yeah.
Wanda.
If people still don't think that chemtrails exist, then I don't know what to tell you. But there is definitely some weather manipulation going on.
Just look up.
I don't think they can start. They can make hurricanes and tornadoes happen yet, or else we'd be in real trouble. But they
Well, I've heard that this oil fracking has definitely destabilized some things, and might have led to some tectonic shifts and some earthquakes and things like that. So yeah. I mean, you gotta look out for it. And if you're not familiar with oil fracking, just go ahead and look it up. Just go ahead and look it up.
It's a trip.
Little hump.
Mer Sanchez says finding your roots on PBS with Louis Gates Jr. on a Wednesday. Studi and Levar or West Studi and LeVar Burton, best one yet, aired last
Okay.
night.
Okay.
Love that show. It's a great
Okay.
show. It's a great show.
Man,
Yeah.
some heavy hitters.
Yeah, big time. Shout out.
Louis
Shout out.
Gates.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yeah, letting us know about that. We'll have to definitely check it out. It's that's an awesome show just because it really makes you remember that everybody we all related. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah.
really what the purpose of that is, and also the legacy piece is an important piece to me. Ever since moving here to Omaha,
Mhm.
Get into the family legacy and wanting to be able to show other people about their legacy as well. Like that's turning out to be an important thing.
Yeah, I mean, you come from somewhere, you know what I mean? It's
You
yeah,
you definitely do. You
yeah,
definitely do.
yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
go ahead.
nah, I'll just I'll just
I heard
yeah, yeah. I kind of went from. I'm just thinking like for better or for worse. You know what I mean? Like some
Yep.
families.
Anthony Rogers Wright in the chat is saying fracking absolutely reapplies for earthquake in what do you say reapplies for earthquake in Oklahoma. Responsible for earthquake in Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially in the Midwest, especially in the
Crazy.
Midwest. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
I was thinking of the Dakotas, but yeah, Oklahoma, Kansas, yeah, Texas.
Wow. Well, yeah, on that level they're doing that. So they can't start tornadoes yet with them chemtrails, but they can cause earthquakes. So yeah, here we go.
Man,
Let's jump into some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. It's 7:16 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got a few stories to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about. Thanks for putting things in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Really appreciate that very much. This week we're kind of going through what's going on as we set up our segments for the weeks to come and contact everybody that we wanted to have on and talk about some things. So that's that. We're in the process there, but in the meantime, we're kind of just getting caught up with stuff that's going on here especially over the break,
yeah.
over the break, and also the legislative session that just started. So we're just getting caught up on some of the important stories that you guys have been talking about, and that has been going on in conversation over the past few weeks, even including the stuff that's happening over at DCYC, which we got to kind of talk about. As a matter of fact, buddy, why don't you go ahead and kind of run down some of the things we're going to talk about today, and we'll get people riled in, roped in to conversate a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Again, thank y'all for bearing with us as far as the comments. If we're not getting to your comments, we apologize. Kind of having some, difficulties, but working through it. But speaking of working through it, man, and speaking of all these natural disasters, still dealing with the effects, even though it's supposed to heat up. It's crazy to say that, like 22, is heating up, but it's
Yep.
supposed to heat up to about 22. It's still pretty cold out there, still below freezing, and OPPD apparently having some issues. So, hopefully we'll begin to talk about some of that, some of the warnings that's going out there. Actually, Governor Pillen put a emergency out, state of emergency for how cold it's going to be. So definitely, be careful out there. Still, even down here, as you heard me say earlier, if you didn't keep the faucets dripping, check on your loved ones, all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about some of the effects of the weather even now in Omaha. And as Paul said, seeing what was going on with the weather and the youth again, pipes freezing, power going off. We don't know what's going on in DCYC, but hopefully we get some more answers with this latest report. And again, big shout out to some of the chat chimers who've been chiming up and letting us know some things going on with that situation as well. Again, this is all wrapped up in a bigger conversation about the downtown jail, as we call it. And remember, DCYC was supposed to be closing. They were supposed to be transferring things, and now both facilities are going to be opening, and we don't know what's going on. So we'll definitely be jumping into that conversation. Also, speaking of the weather, what's going on with our houseless brothers and sisters out there? Again, big shout out to the chat chimers, kind of tipping us to this contract that's being cut. I guess on behalf of the city, it's not looking good, man. Kind of, Gestapo style. How I'm feeling like they just coming in and tearing down camps and throwing away your stuff, man.
Man,
Probably stuff that's been donated. I mean, you don't know what's going on. So again, we'll definitely be talking about that. And then also still following the money, although it is the season of the love supreme. We're still following the money as far as what's going on with this LB 520 funds. Again, how we going? Are we going to get it? Are we going to get it? Definitely Senator McKinney making some moves, kind of changing hands, changing the power. So we'll definitely be talking about that. And of course, if there's anything on your hearts and minds, again, we're having tech difficulties, but still let us know. We'll try to get to you as best we can, and definitely still dive into the conversation. Love to hear you. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard.
yep,
Paul
yep,
B.
yep,
What's the
yep.
word?
Yeah, man. Just kind of looking at what's going on in the chat here. It pops in. Everybody's talking about like the natural disaster stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Miss Erica Fell says I was in Oakland for the World Series quake, and in L.A. On Sunset Boulevard for the big one. Wow, you were right in the epicenter. She says there was stuck in the city for almost a week. No one could get in or out.
For
Yeah,
a week?
Yep. Pop says the biggest natural disasters we face in Nevada is bad drivers and the longest lights in the world.
It's really that bad. You're talking about that on Monday, Paul. It's really that bad, huh?
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know.
All year long last year, I was talking about that Newsweek article that claimed Omaha was the worst drivers in the country,
Yeah.
and I believed it
I mean,
until I went back to Vegas and was like, they obviously skipped Vegas when they did that round of polling there because it was ridiculous. It was crazy.
I think it was kind of the publicity around the time because remember it was that string of like buildings being hit by people, like people just kept hitting buildings for some reason. It was like what is going on? And then you see it's the Omaha's worst drivers. It's like I could see that. I could see that.
Bro. Marlon Harris is in the chat. He said the cold weather reminds me of a polar vortex of 2019.
Okay,
Yeah, I remember that. And for me, 2010, there was a blizzard of 2010 that went down, and I remember it distinctly because that's when I got into town, and I was moved here from Hawaii and was in some shorts and some flip flops, and walked into the blizzard of 2010. And was like, wow, and we was actually kind of snowed in the house that week that I got in town. So yeah, there's been a couple times that there's been really, weather that got you scared, got you feeling like next year I'm gonna put that freezer in the basement, load it up. I'm getting my dry goods on. I got to figure this out because you be stuck. So but today, 22, and the phenomenon of it's going to feel like summer. And for my West Coast people, I'm not lying. I was just out there and I was walking around in a t-shirt because it was like 55 degrees. And Californians and Nevadans was running around like it's cold out here. It's cold. I was like, this is Omaha summer.
Man, Paul's all outside.
Yeah, it's a nice and beautiful day out here. I was thinking about jumping in the pool. I was like,
man,
this is nice.
Yeah, right near the beach.
And I thought about how funny it is that when I'm here and I'm talking about it's 40 degrees or 50 degrees, I'm like, that's a California winter. But as soon as I got to Cali, I was like, man, this is an Omaha summer out here. What's wrong with y'all?
Perspective.
So the fact that it's been like 16 below the past few days. I went out there yesterday to dig the car out, and it was 1 degree, and I felt the difference. I was like, oh, I can stay out here a little longer today on this 1 degree. So when I heard it was going to be 22 today, I was like, well, let's just go and get the swim trunks out because we going to hit the lake today.
Not the lake. You might actually hit it when you slide on that ice.
This is true. Miss Erica Fell says, this is Loma Prieta was the Bay Bridge. Oh, Loma Prieta was the Bay Bridge World Series quake in '89. I was there. You hit all the major earthquakes out. He was out.
I mean, she said she had a knack for it.
Northridge was 94. That's the one that we just talked about, 30-year anniversary. She says I was on Sunset, just returned to visit from Canada.
Man,
and walked into that mess. It was a trip. It was a real trip. This is something that people in Omaha just do not have to deal with. But every place got their something. That's all there is to it. Every place got their something. Anthony Rogers Wright says maybe we can ask our dear brother Chris Rogers about all of this. Some of these things, the DCYC thing. Let's jump into that story real quick, man. Start talking about that a little bit. That's been on everybody's mind. I remember some things going around about it on social media even before it hit the mainstream news because people were worried. It was like, wait a minute, there's no heat in this Arctic tundra we got going on here. There's no heat over there. They started limiting visitation. Let's talk a little bit about that if you got that article pulled up.
Actually, it's a video.
Yeah,
it's a video. But again, thanks to those who kind of tipped us off to it finally catching a news report. This came out just yesterday. So again, in-person visitation, as Paul just mentioned, was off limits at DCYC after pipes had burst. But again, just how long have they been dealing with these cold conditions? We not quite sure.
In-person visitation at the Douglas County Youth Center.
At Chevrolet, we treat you like family.
Yeah, they got too many commercials for us to be running these.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Yeah. But we'll just talk about that for a minute. we're worried about it because if they're limiting visitation, it's kind of suspect after you got news that things are not working over there right. You don't want people to go see what's happening there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the gist, right?
Well, yeah, definitely what's going on. Of course, and that's kind of the big situation with the building the downtown jail, as far as parents having access to the young folks.
Mhm.
But again, this is also reminding us of a bigger problem with the prisons. Like, what is going on in our whole justice system? Not quite sure how long. That's the biggest question. How long have they been dealing with this? Again, this article just came out the 15th. So that means yesterday we were just seeing reports about it. But has anybody seen or heard any other reports as far as what was going on in DCYC and how long they've been dealing with these issues? Again, it's been sub-zero temperatures for quite some time. Snow's been piling up, and not just the pipes, but again, what is the heating situation? Cold rooms, cold water, as again they've been mentioning that. What I think some chat chimer said 3 days that the young folk had to deal with cold showers, no heat in the cells, and now we're hearing about pipes bursting and no visitation. So this is just how bad it has gotten. But I just kind of have more questions about how bad it's been and for how long it's been that bad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it is for me.
Anybody have any more information on that? Let us know. We'll keep on monitoring that situation. Anybody have any people in these facilities in DCYC particularly?
Big question.
Yeah, and have you had any? Have you been trying to go find out what's going on? Let us kind of know. We really want to, appeal to our neighborhoods here and the people in our neighborhoods to really kind of find out what's going on here, because sometimes you don't get the whole story. But I would definitely hit Michelle Trosclair up too. I know she does a lot of work.
Yeah.
Was doing a lot of work at DCYC. We might see what she got going on for sure. Marianne Williams in the chat says, "Good morning, all. Good morning to you. Appreciate it."
Hey.
Just to let you know, we're having a little difficulty with the chat this morning, so we're kind of grabbing it from everywhere, just to make it, just to make sure that we can share it with everybody. We're still in
Yeah.
the discussion mode here. Yeah, if anybody has any information there, just let us know. Wanda Lewis in the chat says they're probably limiting outgoing phone calls as well, because the youth at DCYC are the ones who tip the parents. Okay, tip the parents to the situation. Interesting. Jess Parker in the chat says the woman's correctional facility in New York still doesn't have clean water. She put an article in there to check that out as well. We always talk about this. We always talk about conditions of the prisons.
Yeah.
The prison system being modern slavery in the first place. If that's the case, then how much are they really helping you out when it comes to healthcare in these facilities, or just they're treating people like they're subhuman. So why have any conditions that make it easy for you to survive?
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Right, and this kind of goes for all of it. So this really interesting stuff to consider when it comes to these things. And again, if anybody has any connections there, tell us how it's been to be able to try to reach the people that you have there, and just keep an eye out on this, and we'll just keep on talking about it until we can get some answers here.
Yeah. And again, you kind of making it the statement in jest. But Brother Anthony Rogers, right? You might be right. We definitely might have to have Brother Chris Rogers on to kind of speak to him and really get an understanding of what is going on. And I guess what the perspective of what's going on is from the Douglas County Commission. So again, thanks for that suggestion. As always, if you have anything on your hearts and minds, definitely feel free to drop that in the chat. Any connections, any suggestions, we'll definitely hear and we'd love to hear what you got to say. But moving on, which one to hop into next, man? I'm kind of thinking about the homeless situation. That's kind of on my mind and heart. Is especially talking about all this weather, just about how cold it is out there, and again, who's dealing with that or who's impacted by that more than our houseless, our brothers and sisters, and even when they do find a situation where they can get a sliver of comfort, I guess you can call that some type of place to go and hunker down and warm up. Apparently, the city is not not happy about it, not having it, and not supporting it. The city of Omaha, according to KETV7, is looking to hire a contractor to remove homeless encampments, according to a bid posted online The surge comes as the metro braces for, again, another round of winter weather expected to deliver dangerous cold. The metro area continuum of care for homeless, which is one of the organizations that assists with houseless brothers and sisters, they say that street outreach teams are hitting the streets to bring unhoused people's necessities like food and blankets and places to shelter. But again, a dangerous combo between the winter storm, extreme cold, as the area is expecting to get hit again, and Joe Hoberlin, who rolled out the recent winter storm. Say that 5 times fast. Under a bridge near 77th and Cass, says, "I'm just tired of being out here," which I could imagine. So Hoberlin says that he has experienced encampment cleanups before. His possessions, including boots, blankets, and sleeping bags, marshmallows, coffee, you name it, everything that he carried by a shopping cart. He says, "I don't want to necessarily just abandon everything." KETV is investigating and apparently discovered online that the city is searching for a contractor to survey sites, collect debris, dismantle temporary structures, remove trash, and dispose of material. An agreement last year and may be extended for an agreement lasts 1 year and may be extended for up to 4 1-year terms. That's including the online bid. So again, might be something that they're preparing for several years, not just this winter. The encampment contract does not describe how the city would help people experiencing homelessness, like in places like bridges, vegetated areas, shelters are scrapped together. But the bid does say, according to this article, the city will make efforts to cluster several sites when possible, whatever that means. Apparently, there is a service coordinator for the city, Tamara Dwyer, who declined to comment, of course, on the bid Wednesday. A spokesperson for the mayor's office also declined to make Mayor Gene Stother available for comment. So no official word from the city, but according to research from KETV and their news team, it does look like, the city is looking for people to shut it down and not really offering many resources or anything outside of that. It's very, very interesting. And again, when you hear from Match that they're donating things, I'm sure they get stuff from the Salvation Army. There are plenty of organizations out there working to donate to our houseless brothers and sisters. And, you know, it's a shame to see the city coming through and basically just throwing it away.
Yeah. That's interesting. Shout out to KETV for running that article. Some of the images from there is interesting to me. They got this bobcat out here just kind of dumping, throwing homeless people's stuff away.
Man.
Kind of crazy. Wanda Lewis in the chat says the city should provide options for the homeless population and not just remove them, for sure. Mama God said that's horrible. A private business would be shut down by now. Yeah. Anthony Rogers Wright says, and with COVID ticking up again, we need to know what their plan is to protect and care for inmates. Talking about the DCYC kids for sure, but also, I'm thinking the homeless too. They're out there susceptible to a lot of things as well. It's too bad. Not really.
I'm just kind of thinking, like, even though you don't have a house, you can't have stuff. Like just this image, like they're throwing their stuff away, like.
Yeah, it's messed up, man. Here's some of the stuff they talk about: the scope of the work, survey sites, collect debris, dismantle temporary structures, remove trash, disposal material. People in the chat, Friends of First Sky Omaha was kind of, spoke up about being offended about that. People aren't trash. And, people's possessions, you know what I'm saying, might look like trash to you, ain't trash to them.
Right.
And the fact that you even think in terms of, like, we got to remove the trash from these areas, collect debris from these areas, it's kind of messed up. It's kind of really messed up. This is the image that they're using. Homeless encampment contractor with clean, clear sites in Omaha. People don't need to be cleaned. It was one of the comments on Friends of First Sky Omaha. It's kind of messed up the way they even think of it. But this picture just really kind of it's like these cats are out here in the snow, trying to survive, trying to live. Yeah. In the snow, in this weather, bundle up as best they can. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about as trash and debris is stuff they're trying to bundle with. Why you throwing? You know what I'm saying? They might be throwing blankets and extra clothes and all kinds. I see extra clothes in this thing already.
Yeah.
So, it's a really messed up situation in a really big way.
And the fact that again, this is stuff that could possibly have been donated by these organizations. Like I think big shout out to the metro area for Continuum of Care for the Homeless, or Match, for speaking up in this article, even when the city wouldn't. But big shout out to them for speaking up, and hopefully something will be done about this. And I will be interested to see who's even bidding for these contracts. Is that a public process? Where can we get that kind of information? Maybe a FOIA could be put in. But yeah, I wonder who's even bidding for this type of stuff. Who would get the contract? Maybe we should reach out to the city and see if we can get some more information.
There you go. Shout out to all the individuals that got boost to the roofs that are going around passing out coats, blankets, doing the work of trying to help help out. I got a few friends that have been out and about trying to make that happen. I'm jumping over to YouTube real quick. Shout out to everybody who understands that we have some technical difficulties right now. So we're kind of just we're pulling comments in as we can. The comments are not showing up on our programs, but I'm locked in here on the phone. First of all, Kimmer Snipes gives us a good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey.
Again, apologize if we don't get to everybody's comment here. But Marianne Williams says, we're required to treat our pets more humanely than inmates in the homeless.
Man, I mean, every year.
Yeah.
every year yes sir, every year they get the most donations out of any homeless shelter, out of any women's battered homes. The Humane Society get the most money.
Them dogs.
Man, beast of the field, man. Dang.
Miss Erica Fell says now is not the time for them to be having the conversation about tearing down self-made shelters. Right. I mean, right. Like during the Arctic tundra, this is when this stuff is going to be happening here.
And with nowhere else to go.
Mark Mander says, I'm in the old market every day, and some structures have been built in the old market. One decent sized one by my store was lit on fire a while back and damaged some vehicles parked by there. He says, I wonder if that is the motivation for this. Yeah, don't mess with don't mess with old market. Yeah, I can feel that. Mr. Erkenfeld says there aren't enough beds for them. There aren't enough appropriate beds for everyone. That's everything they have to their name, and tossing it deepens their trauma. Ooh, you guys is coming with it,
man. Again, just because you don't have enough to have a home or roof over your head, you can't have possessions. You can't have items. You can't have clothes, blankets.
I mean, you can't have a camp, obviously. Also, let's see here. Anthony Rogers Rice says Michael Vick did more time in the clink for abusing animals than lawmakers have for abusing people. How's that used?
There you go. Perspective. Thank you for that one.
Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Lots of comments here. Like I said, I'm trying to get to all of them for sure. Got things jumping in all over the place here. So bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties here when it comes to the comments. And so we're doing the best we can to try to grab them from everywhere. But thanks for joining us. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners.
Hey.
If you have people that are in a houseless situation, let us know what it is that anybody can do to help that situation. Let us know if you have you've been there, or you're close to being there, or any of those things. Because I'm very much aware that it can happen to us at any time, especially with the housing crisis that we got going on right now, and also what's happening with the prices of housing, the prices of apartments skyrocketing. A lot of people moving in with each other. A lot of people really trying to survive out here. So shout out to everybody that's trying to work that out. And remember, everybody, we got a community here. Let's make sure that everybody is really able to make sure everybody's okay.
Right.
She says in any type of weather, Waterloo is in any type of weather, this is messed up for sure.
Yep.
Lots of comments coming in on YouTube real quick. Mark Manor says there have been people living on Howard Street under the canopy by M's Pub for weeks. When it got too cold the other day, those folks had to go to shelter, and they came and snatched up everything.
Mm. When you said
So
they came and snatched, you mean like the city came and
yeah,
cleaned up this stuff?
that's what it sounds like. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know.
Yeah,
And tossed it. He said, and tossed it.
man,
So yeah,
man.
that.
Miss
Yeah.
Erica felt with a pretty interesting comment, and I definitely agree with what you're saying. She says so let's be real. There is trash, and there are containers of body waste. There's no trash cans for the unhoused to put their trash. So yeah, it's there, but when they quote unquote clean up, they take belongings also. And she says, as far as the fire, it very likely that was not an unhoused person that torched it. There's people who don't view them as human, vile things. She says it was likely a relative of a shop owner as far as the fire goes. But that's an interesting, theory, I guess you could say, Brother Mark Manor. But again, you really kind of look at. I'm going back to what Kimura said. I think she mentioned something about the library. She says, and the library has an internal policy that states anything you bring in the library with you has to be able to fit under your chair that you use at the computer. Again, maybe being targeted towards houseless people and the whole downtown library situation. Some people, were saying that
Mm.
a big part of that library being torn down was, again, the city not really wanting the houseless population that used to congregate there being there, and being near the whole new beautiful Gene Leahy Mall and amphitheater, and kind of social cleansing, if you will. So again, it could be said that the city has kind of been at war with our houseless peoples. And I'll just drop this, and then kind of we can move on from it, or you can I'll toss it to you, Paul.
Mm.
But if the city has money to pay for somebody to come and clean these up, why don't they just use it to help the homeless people? And again, they're talking about a 4-year contract. Like, how much is this contract worth over the course of 4 years? And if you have that, why not pay for hotel rooms or pay for something?
And with
So,
that, we'll take a break. I mean, you dropping the mic on that one. That's yeah. We'll take a break and we'll come back and jump back into some more issues here and continue some of the conversation here. Lots of stuff in the chat here that we'll try to get to on this subject when we get right back. But stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Excuse the technical difficulties here we're having with the chat, so we're doing the best we can. Yeah, really realizing today this is the first time this has really ever happened where our program is not bringing the chats in, so I'm trying to pull them from the phone and other computers and all kinds of stuff.
Man,
and really, this is a reiteration of like how important the conversation is. This is the only reason why we're doing this, so we can speak to y'all. So bear with us if we're missing your comments. I'm sorry about that. We'll do the best we can to continue on with it. But these are subjects that you guys have been bringing up over on Friends of First Sky Omaha, and shout out to everybody that's been doing that. This is, we also think that these are important headlines for us that we need to be talking about here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, a fresh edition. This is season 7, Love Supreme, First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Few haps happening today. Definitely need to see what's going on here. Preston Love is running for U.S. Senate against Pete Ricketts, who just put in his bid this morning. or last night, and so yeah, they're going for it, and this is going to happen today, January 17th. Venue at Highlander at 11 a.m. They're kicking off the campaign. So we talked to him a little bit last season. He came on the show and told us that he was going to be running against Pete Ricketts. He had a big announcement. We brought him on, and he let us know what was happening there. So a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people all of our chat chimers, they kind of had some opinions about whether or not this was a good move or a bad move. Some people talked about how they were going to support, and some people talked about how they wish that this was going in a different direction. We had a lot of different opinions on these things, but ultimately, if this is where Brother Elder is going, we're going to go ahead and back him on his move, on his play. So definitely support this situation, and the announcement kickoff is happening today. You might want to show up there since it's going to feel like summertime outside today, this afternoon. You know, hey, we'll see how the roads act with the 22 degrees. Still below freezing. So
that part still be slipping and sliding.
It might be slippy slidey today, so we'll see. But venue at Highlander, if you're around the area, maybe go check this out at 11 o'clock. Leadership and real results for all Nebraskans. His campaign announcement and kickoff once again. Preston Love for U.S. Senate is happening. Let us know. Let us know what you think about this as well.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your opinions on this again. And just to reiterate, having some problems with the chat, so we're doing the best we can on keeping you guys keeping the chat going here, and then reading from different sources on those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Appreciate everybody that's joining in the conversation, Dave. Share the conversation. Tell a friend. If you missed any parts of this, you can go back and watch it in its entirety on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
And all that good stuff. And once again, shout out to everybody who's putting articles in Friends of First Guy Omaha. That's literally where I pull a lot of the stuff in the morning that I'm looking at.
Co-host.
The co-host. You, the co-host. So appreciate it very much. And let's continue on. There was some chats. You got some stuff on YouTube over there. You're looking at YouTube, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah. YouTube is going on. So big shout out to everybody tuned in right now. A lot of the usual crew, Miss Kimmerer Snipe, Miss Erica Feld, Marianne Williams, Pops chiming in, throwing some love. So appreciate that. So yeah, definitely a camera kind of topping off what I was saying as far as the downtown library situation. Again, she's worked in the library system for some time. She says people also have been living under the bridge on 14th Street. Their stuff was also tossed. She says when she worked at the downtown library, apparently an organization would feed the homeless, and the branch manager would request additional officers as a response. So wow. Yeah. Again, you will see it, and I couldn't imagine that there would be a lot of support, I guess, for our houseless, our brothers and sisters out there. So definitely big shout out to the organization. If you remember that organization that would come down and do the feedings, would definitely love to give them some love and maybe even catch up to see what they're doing now. But yeah, again, you gotta understand that there was a relationship between the city's perspective of the houseless population in that area and what happened with this library.
Most def. A little earlier, I missed a comment by Jess Parker. Says people experiencing houselessness are still community members.
Right.
It's shameful that cities to go out. Shameful for cities to go out of their way to create more barriers for them and dehumanize them. Yeah, big time.
Powerful.
Wanda Lewis said a nonprofit organization has donated tents that were disposed of as well. So that's kind of what we were talking about a little earlier. Nonprofit organizations and individuals that are really trying to make sure that people have stuff, and they go out there and they get them blankets and tents and all kinds of stuff. And then this stuff is what they consider the trash that needs to be cleaned up. It's messed up.
Yeah.
On the subject of Preston Love, his bid for run right now, Anthony Rogers Wright says, I'm very concerned that Preston is being used to bring black votes to Vargas by the NDP. Vargas should earn our votes, not have them delivered. The same can be said of Biden. Is there any plan for this to actually be a statewide campaign or just Omaha specific? He says the answer to that question will tell you what the true intentions of this campaign is. We're being used by the Democrats yet again. Wake up, black people. Woo.
Okay.
gonna have to have an Anthony Rogers Wright segment going on here.
Man. Yeah, we might have some opportunities for you. Might have some opportunities. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that comment. I do recall conversations with our brother Preston Love Jr. and you know him really doubling down and reiterating the fact that he does have statewide connections and he's not just Omaha guy. And you'll be surprised, how many people in Western Nebraska are willing to build bridges, and you can kind of I guess allies out there, as you could say.
Right.
So I'll say that, and then I'll preface the statement with that, but say, we'll just have to see, what happens with this campaign and how it plays out. But hopefully this isn't just for show. Hopefully this is something that, Brother Preston Love feels he can do. And I believe we asked him that, when he announced with us, and he said it's not just for show, that he's really going for the seat. And, we can't have Ricketts in there. So,
yeah, I was gonna say I think he would buck back against that very strongly.
Yeah.
He's being used by the Democratic Party. I think he's very, very convinced that and he does have a lot of connections. He's very convinced that this is the move that he needs to make.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody can make it, if anybody in the Black community especially can make it, I would say he could. If we really were concerned, if everybody was concerned, this is the first time I ever heard anybody really be really concerned about Pete Ricketts being in that seat, though. I mean, we all have experienced him, but I haven't heard anybody like step up and say Ricketts needs to get out of that seat, and here's what we're gonna do about it, except for Preston Love, right?
Right.
So like I said, I back to play. I hope that he does win. Like I said, on that interview, I do remember us asking him directly, "Do you think you can win?" And he felt like, this was not a play. This was something that he was actually doing, and can't really blame him about that. So we can have him on again and talk about it, especially after he makes his announcement today. Once again, his announcement today is happening at the Highlander at 11 o'clock. The venue at the Highlander, you all know where that is. That's where we're hanging out with Dr. Cornell West, for those of you that don't remember. And that's happening today at 11 o'clock a.m. Go ahead and check it out. He says to RSVP, or for more information, contact Mike at loveforsenate.com or call 402-515-1442. So looks like he has a campaign. He got a campaign manager. He's got a team, and they're going for it. So let's see what's happening. I'm definitely wanting to look into it more, what it takes, who's been in that seat before, who was in it before Ricketts got in it. What has Ricketts been doing in that seat?
That's a good question.
I would love to find out about the power of that seat and kind of discuss that. So if anybody has any stuff there, let us know. I would like to jump back to this comment that Brother Anthony Rogers Wright made, though, about the Democratic Party. This is the election season.
Yeah. See, that's a different point. It's a different point. Preston Love, but the Democratic Party is a different point.
It's the election season. We've been all last year hearing it started with the revelation that there was more Black people that voted for Trump than I thought. That's how it started for me. Like, what? Right in line, I was getting all this information. People were kind of underground with it before, and then they started standing on ground on it. Like,
I know a few.
Yeah, there's especially like Black men. There's a direct correlation with Black men who voted for Trump that I did not get this connection. So I didn't understand really what was going on there, and I started to realize that this was happening, and then it was a domino effect. I remember hearing that Megan Hunt left the Senator Megan Hunt left the Democratic Party. Kimra left the Democratic Party. Other people started dropping back, and there's been some big complaints, and of course we've been hearing complaints about Biden like all year. You know what I'm saying? So here we are, beginning of a new year, the year of election, and I'm looking at the landscape like, man, like things have changed from the year before.
Really,
for me, from my perception of like what's really going on with the Democratic Party, it feels like a big change happened from like the way the chat chimers were talking and what we were talking about the year before to last year. To me, was a big jump. So here we are now, like, what do we do? And then it's really interesting to me that Dr. Cornell West, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Love himself, decided he's going to run for president.
Yeah,
and it was just like, like a breath of fresh air, like a cup of clean water. When he said that, all of a sudden now you wanted to vote for somebody instead of being in a situation where you had to choose lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that now we're really concerned. Like, does he think he can win? Is he going for it? What's everybody else feeling like? Great response out here in Omaha. I'll tell you that more than I thought it was going to happen for him. But it puts it back on your mind. I just heard this morning that Trump is still a front runner for the Republican Party. So it's going to be Trump and Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody can pull an Obama or something and come on up from behind, and you know what I'm saying. In my greatest fantasy, Dr. Cornel West would come up and beat him. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that'd be huge.
Yeah,
that'd be huge.
That'd be huge.
It could happen. Anything could happen. You never know. And I am kind of wondering, just feeling the ethers, if you will. Because how mainstream is really the question. How much of a mainstream push or how mainstream can the idea of getting out of this two-party mindset, because it's always been other parties. There have always been other parties. There have always been decent candidates and exciting candidates representing other parties. But it does, kind of like, is this becoming now? Are other people starting to build on that perspective? And this kind of goes back to a conversation I think was on MSNBC or one of the major, news kind of platforms, as far as and we kind of shared this video amongst ourselves, Paul. Is this the end of democracy, as far as not necessarily the end of democracy, but the end of just the process as we know it, the two-party system, the popularity of the two-party system? Are people becoming, increasingly just disenchanted with it? I personally have been a kind of apathetic voter because of that, situation. Like I've always felt like the Democratic Party was shucking and jiving, man. Going back to like college, like, man, I'll never forget the imagery of Hillary Clinton on on the Breakfast Club, talking about she got hot sauce in her bag, and like, come on, like, come on, man.
I thought you were going to go back further than that when she was talking about them young kids being super predators.
I mean,
so like I said, man, Wanda Lewis in the chat just said something. She says everyone was concerned about the blue dot in the last election for our local community. That comment right there reminds me that the blue dot was praised so highly for changing the course of the election.
Mm-hmm.
A few years back, and how the blue dot has to be protected. We were talking about the blue dot so strongly. That's what I'm saying. Last year we didn't say. I hardly remember us saying blue dot at all last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, so what's going to happen with the blue dot? Do we still have one? There's people jumping ship from the Democratic Party. It really makes me think about all the conversations we had with one of our great leaders out here, Miss Precious McKesson. We need to have her back and talk about that. She's still in the Democratic Party and fighting the good fight. Got to hear from her about what's going on, what's happening here. She's definitely, like I said, there's people jumping ship. There's a shift in attitude. This is we were a blue dot in a sea of red, and if we got all kinds of people voting for Trump inside the blue dot, what does it mean for the blue dot?
Mm-hmm. And
how's her fight going? Go ahead.
That's a good question. And if anybody follow Precious on social media, you've been seeing she's been in DC making some moves recently. So yeah, definitely would love to catch up with her, see her perspective on what's going on with that. And that is a great point as far as even on this show, our support of the blue dot and how we were kind of bigging that up. And I would say a big part of that is meeting individuals like Precious McKesson, like Brother Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, and meeting actual Democrats that I felt represented me, not the Democrats that I've been seeing before that. And the blue dot was, mostly that area, you know what I mean? That jurisdiction, I guess, for lack of better terms. But yeah, I think jumping ship is a good way to put it, Paul, as far as even we've seen, the politics kind of get in the way of those individuals that I just named, namely Brother Senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney. You call it for what you were, but them not really getting the recognition that we all feel that they deserve from the Democratic Party for some other things that kind of really don't have much to do with them. So
and not support from the allies.
right.
Legislation.
So
You're right.
all of that is kind of definitely feeding into that. You know what I mean?
Before we go to a break, it's 8:00 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we got another hour here with you here, our co-host, our chat chimers. Wanda Lewis says everyone. Oh, I read that one already about the blue dot. Anthony Rogers Wright says it's impossible. Biden is the Dem nominee. The party isn't allowing any primaries or debates against Biden. Wanda Lewis says no debating seems to be the thing now. Another example is, would be Pillin with the no debating. Wanda Lewis says it looks like a closed mouth can get fed. Whew. Some stuff over there on YouTube. I'll get set up for this break if you want to jump into some of these comments on YouTube.
Yep. Actually, going with your comments, Sister Kimura is saying my uncles are all from the deep woods of the South, the backwoods, if you will. And she says, and they voted for Trump. That's very, very interesting.
Like I said, I'm seeing some folks from the inner city of Omaha that are doing the same. And you got to be, you ain't got to be backwoods no more to do that.
Man. RG in the chat saying good morning, y'all. Definitely top of the morning to you. Saying just waking up and just tuning in. Since politics is the lick right now. Y'all saw Iowa is trying to slide Trump back in the spot, right? That's very interesting.
Yep.
But he also says on the other side, get Biden up out the paint. Definitely get him out the paint. I like the way you put it. He says Cornell West 2024.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, man.
Already. It's definitely interesting what's going on with Trump. We haven't really talked about it either, but this is something that has been happening over the break. While we were off. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, while we were gone. Yeah, I mixed out and off, but Anyway, what do y'all think of these states kicking Trump out of the ballot? Like, is that going to stick?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that yet.
Yeah, that's kind of a wrench in this whole conversation.
And to further that piece right there, because you got to think about this, man. If he can't run, you know who's out here. You know who's next up. You know who's on deck.
Who's that? DeSantis?
DeSantis, bro. I mean, it's almost like is that worse than Trump? I mean, like,
man, Florida man in the White House.
A Florida man in the White House. Yeah, man, it's crazy talk. So, like, it's just, hey. I got Eric Bergen in the chat. Good morning to you. Appreciate that very much.
This tech is kind of mind-boggling. I guess chats just decided to start popping up.
Oh, did they? Did they?
Yeah. I see Eric Berger coming in. Marianne Williams says Nebraska Dems have lost 60K in the last 25 years. Man.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about with this. Marlon Harrison says third-party candidates are not allowed on ballots in every state. This is true too. So that's a problem too. With and when we say third party, we're talking about Dr. Cornell West, who decided he was going to run as an independent.
Right.
And we talk about independence. This is also part of that conversation about the diminishing, Democrats and everything else. Independent is where everybody is going. What exactly does that mean? A lot of young people that are coming in the game are coming in independent because they're tired of the two-party system. So what does it mean? It does look like the chat just populated back up.
Yeah, just started by itself, like
nail in the coffin for Restream, bro.
Facebook Restream. Count your days. Count your
days. Kimmer Snipe says, I'm on the fence with that. I'm worried about repercussions. On the fence with what? Which thing are you worried?
I think she's talking about the Trumpsters responding to some of these states.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Rome's Reviews, Amir Sanchez says, I would vote for a woman president based on the fact she is a female. Systematically, we've only had males, so it's the same thing.
Okay.
I need a little bit more reason to vote for somebody than that, but I feel you. We're all feeling like we need a big change.
Man.
I almost wouldn't vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, Because there's a lot of people out there that's like, I'm tired of voting for old white men, so that's a reason to do something different too. So might as well. Kimmer Snipes says people seem to be liking Haley better than DeSantis in the polls. I just heard the opposite this morning. I think he's up one other than her, but that ain't very encouraging either.
Man, it's not. But I have been hearing more about Haley than I had Ron.
Oh, well,
Ronald.
You've been hearing about Ron. You've been hearing all the crazy stuff that's been going on. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for all the comments that you have on here. Miss Erica felt saying what I'm feeling like. They're both scary nuts.
Talking about Trump and Biden.
You're talking about DeSantis and
yeah, man. I mean, I used to live in Florida. It's an interesting place.
You've been saying it less and less though. Before you was like, "Hey man, let me talk about my alma mater."
No, I mean, I see it, man. I see it. You know, I'm still for the no income tax or whatever, but it's
you reaching now, bro. You're reaching. I'll pay some income tax if I don't need to be in the state where DeSantis is running.
Man, it's hard.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We'll be right back, y'all.
Man.
Get my hustle on, hustle till the break of dawn. Do whatever makes me strong. Worry about the right and wrong. Living in the HIC, brothers all surrounding me. Ain't no futures here, just lives full of pain and fear. Time for a different stroke. I'm tired always being broke. Me and just about all my folks. Tired of being without hope, so it's time to get my hustle on. Hustle till the break of dawn. Do whatever makes me strong.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll
be Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
It's going down at Benson Theater next weekend. It's going down January 14th and 15th. The Meeting. I don't know if you've seen this yet. It's a fictional imaginary meeting between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X in 1965 in a hotel in Harlem during the height of the civil rights movement. You can get your tickets at bensontheater.org. It's a pretty great play that they play all over the place. Thinking, in the fact that we're here in the era of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, this is always a good one to do. Malcolm X, if you don't know, born in Omaha. So we always are trying to make sure that we check out what's going on with his life. And this particular imaginary meeting, this fictional thing here, really kind of when I read the script, it was really kind of like, wow, this makes sense. This is the kind of conversation they probably would have if they were able to have that conversation back in that day. They really were on the same page on a whole lot of stuff. People try to act like they were opposite spectrums, but they were really believing some of the same stuff and pretty much got killed for some of the same reasons.
Mm-hmm. So
this is a very entertaining play. I think D. Kevin Williams is directing this. And I believe Just Bee's in it, and I can't remember the other actor, but
I think our brother Shamari Huggins is in this.
What? Really? Okay.
I think so.
We'll have to definitely check it out. But get your tickets, get some more information, go to bensontheater.org. Support. We love supporting our black artists, especially over there at the Benson Theater. But check this out: The Meeting by Jeff Stetson. It's going down January 14th and 15th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. on the 14th and 2 p.m. on the 15th. And get your tickets now. It's gonna be a hot one. So appreciate everybody that's joining in the chat and bearing with us on the chat that is coming in and out.
Man,
being consistent either.
It's doing what it wants, man. It's doing what it
Doing what it
wants.
wants today. So, bear with us. We'll get as many of your comments out as we can. Really appreciate that very much. Marlon Harrison in the chat says, I don't understand how people are Republican like this. He says, I don't understand how people are Republican when they are banning books, banning Black history and ethics studies, banning abortion, and rolling back healthcare. Young person in the chat there that is talking about some of the sentiment of a lot of young people right now. They don't understand it, but nevertheless, a lot of people keep voting Republican. So again, what are you gonna do? There's definitely complaints about Biden and the Democratic Party that we've shared here, that Chad Chimers have talked about as well. So nobody's escaping this critique, and it just feels like, what are you gonna do? Just really feels like that. Marianne Williams says, Haley also said racism was not behind the Civil War. This kind of stuff that Haley be talking about. Lots. We'll come back to it. As a matter of fact, we're going to be talking a little bit later on about the efforts that Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne got going on. This is the legislative session as well.
Man.
For those of you who don't know, they will be back on the show. As a matter of fact, starting next week, we're just trying to lock down which date that they want to come by, because we got to work around their schedule now. They're going up to the legislature every day. So
too many jobs, man.
Too many jobs. So we'll work around their schedule and get them on and have them come in and give us some reports on what's going on in the legislature as well. But before we get to that, big situation happening.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of laws and legislature, if you don't think that this is important, check this
speaking
out.
Of Florida. Speaking of Florida. Yeah. Definitely big news we got to talk about. We always call Nebraska the Mississippi of the Midwest, but yeah, we got to look at what's going on in Florida now that a stand your ground bill could possibly make its way to Nebraska. Again, the bill would allow Nebraskans to use deadly force to defend themselves in the public. Reads the headline out of the Omaha World Herald. If you remember, the stand your ground bill was definitely central to the whole Trayvon Martin situation. And again, what happened with that, and there's have been several other cases that surrounded the stand your ground bill, and again, it deals with the right, or really the requirement of others to either retreat in an instance of attack or having to defend themselves, or the ability to just stand their ground and defend themselves. Again, Nebraskans could use deadly force to defend themselves, whether they're at home, at work, in their vehicles, or in public, under a bill that was recently introduced Tuesday at the Nebraska legislature. Legislative Bill 1269 was among actually 106 other bills and 3 proposed constitutional amendments offered during a day that was dominated by continued debate about legislative rules changes, which we talked about briefly on Monday. Some things to definitely look out for. A big shout out to Kimra for dropping that, and Friends of First Sky on Facebook. Some information about that. But lawmakers are expected to finish the rules debate on Friday. But again, one thing that definitely should be debated, and hopefully we can fight on, is this bill, LB 1269. Just about 14 co-sponsors joined State Senator Brian Harding of Gering, Nebraska, who introduced the bill. They say that it would add Nebraska to the list of states that will allow people to defend themselves or others in all 4 locations. This bill would protect anyone who used lethal force under the law from being charged with a crime or sued in civil court. So that's definitely important to keep in mind. Currently, the state law requires people to retreat. So again, that's where the differentiation comes from. Do you have to go back into your house if someone is on your front lawn trying to start issues with you? Do you have to go in your car if you're at the grocery store and you get into it with somebody in the parking lot? Or can you stand your ground? Again, currently in the state of Nebraska, you have to retreat. You have to go in the house. You have to go in the car if you can do so safely when facing a violent confrontation in the vehicle or in public. The law does not require people to retreat if they are in their home or workplace. So again, remember with this, it's the 4 areas that you have: in your vehicle, in public, at home, or at the workplace. So again, currently you do not have to retreat if you're at home or at work. But again, this bill could change all of that. And I would mention before opening up for conversation, this comes on the heels of the gun laws changing in Nebraska. And again, not some of the requirements surrounding gun ownership and how you can carry a gun being laxed in the city of Nebraska, or city of Omaha, still struggling to deal with that with their own ordinances. So yeah, a lot of things going on with guns in Nebraska. What say you?
Yeah, definitely put that out there to the chat. Really appreciate everybody who is got some opinions on this. We didn't even really get to talk too much about the gun laws last season once they changed. We had a little bit of discussion about it, but yeah, this is something different. Of course, when we think of stand your ground laws, the first thing that comes to mind is Trayvon Martin and the situation there where his killer followed him around, saying, and basically gunned him down, and then claimed stand your ground and got off because of that. Was not prosecuted over him claiming stand your ground law, and that's what I think of when I think of it. So, it's I don't have a good feeling about it at all. Jumping in the chat real quick. Mama God says, I hope Senator Wayne internet is working better because he is not going to be able to go outside and remain on the show for the duration of their time. Okay. Yeah, we will definitely we'll definitely help him out with that situation as much as we can. Kimmer Snipe says, if the streets are clear Friday, I'll be going back down to Lincoln if anyone wants to roll. But you have to meet me at my house by 7:00. Appreciate you getting it together there, getting a group to go down. This is something that we definitely want to try to do this year. As far as the stand your ground law is concerned, want to hear from you on what it is that you think is on this law, on the law, any of that stuff. I'm trying to pull up something right now to take a look at. Let's see if I can share my screen here real quick. This is as of 2023, a map of the stand your ground type laws in which state that they're in. I believe Kansas wasn't it in Kansas that Trayvon Martin happened?
No, that was Florida.
Was it Florida? Okay,
that was Florida. Yeah, Sanford, Florida, just outside of Orlando.
So here you go. Kansas, Florida, Alabama, Georgia. Interesting, Idaho, Pennsylvania. Didn't know. Kentucky. So when we talk a lot about some of that stuff that's out there, but this is also something out here too. It's not just stand your ground, but it's this no duty to retreat law. Right. That a lot more states are hooked up with as well. But as you can see, man, like most of the country got some kind of something to where you can just, if you feel like something's up, you can just be shooting somebody. Of course,
shoot first, ask questions later.
Right. It's kind of crazy. In the chat real quick, Marianne Williams says, so you can see how painting black and brown people as dangerous animals or terrorists can create more problems towards I fear for my life, so I shot him.
Yeah.
Not to mention the police department. The police have been doing that too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a story about a classmate that happened to. It made national news, but this was a classmate of mine when I was in college. A young man was on break. I think it was spring break. His car broke down. So maybe some of you remember this. I believe this was in South Carolina, or it might have been Georgia. Actually, it was here in Georgia, but we were in school in Florida at the time. And his car broke down. He was in a neighborhood, going from door to door, trying to get assistance. I think he was asking for, to use somebody's phone to call for assistance, and he ultimately got shot. And it was definitely I fear for my life, big scary, black man at my door. And I don't think any charges were pressed. Anybody went to jail, and a young man just lost his life just trying to get help.
I always think about the fear that mostly white America has against black people, and it really I feel like it stems from guilt. It stems from this guilt. Like they feel like if white folks have been treating black folks a certain way all this time, and as soon as black folks get the chance, they're going to retaliate, because that's kind of something that I feel like white America would do. And we've proven year after year, decade after decade, that we're not coming for you to seek any kind of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So but they still are, where are these paintings of these animalistic people, and why is this always in the forefront? I believe it's because it's their conscience messing with them. They know they've been messing with black folks, and so why wouldn't black folks be coming for you? You know what I'm saying? And then but most of the time they're not. So what happens then? It's just pervasiveness, this pervasive fear. Yeah,
It's a prison.
Permeate the country, prison of the mind.
It's a prison.
RG says, kind of surprised Nebraska doesn't have stand your ground since they let open carry slide right on through the legislature. Well, that's what we're talking about. It might be coming up next.
Yeah. Laying the groundwork.
Stuff that that's been happening down south 5-10 years ago. This is when Nebraska starts catching up and acting just like it. And so, of course, this is going to be something that's going to be out there now, too. Brother Knight says they're not scared of black people. Well, I don't know. I think there's a pervasive fear going on here that is them wanting, they hate, but they also is coming from a place of fear. A lot of times, I feel like. Tony Johnson says anybody scared. Very few let their conscience get them. We are a selfish factor. We are a selfish factor of being. I'm not sure what that means. I think it comes from fear. I think being scared of something and having deep fear of a thing are two different things. I don't think they're scared. I think they're not scared to pull their gun out and gun somebody down. They're not scared to do a whole lot of stuff, but I think they have a fear that everybody's out to get them, that permeates their life a lot of times. I think they have a fear that black folks is out to get you in particular.
Yeah. That woman. Hatred is often rooted in fear. If they weren't scared, they wouldn't go to such unreasonable extremes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. You think about what Precious always says about the vote. They wouldn't go to the extremes that they do if they didn't fear what could happen. Again, they're not scared. It's not debilitating them. It's not stopping them from, doing anything. But there, of course, there's some fear that something that is not against their liking that is going to happen, which is why they're always on the attack.
Comes from it. Brother Nice has ever heard of the term preemptive strike? That's their mentality when it comes to black people. Right. Preemptive strike is suggests they think that black people are going to strike first.
Right. Which comes from the fear. Right.
They're afraid that they're afraid they're not going to be up. So they get up. Lots to talk about on that subject, as we can see. Lots of good comments, good opinions here for sure. I think that it's going to be I've never heard of anything good about a law like stand your ground. I think that it's in theory might be something that will help protect. It's made to protect, but it gets misused. First time I ever heard about stand your ground law, it was misused in the Trayvon Martin case.
Yeah,
misused.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Zimmerman did face criminal charges according to the article, but was found not guilty under the stand your ground law. And as Paul just showed on the map, about 25 states have passed some form of such laws since 2005, when Florida passed the first such measure, including, again, most of Nebraska's neighbors, as you might have seen on that map, were pretty much surrounded. So, and that's kind of sometimes an indicator of what could happen in your state. You start to look at, to the left, to the right, up and down, what are other states doing? And it's only a matter of time most times.
Yeah. Marlon Harrison's got a good point. He says, mind you, stand your ground law is for white people. When black or brown people use stand your ground law, they act like it doesn't exist. It's another part of that. A whole group of people that are in fear for their life most of the time, especially when law enforcement is around, and some of the most vulnerable groups use it, and this, of course, and they don't feel like it's for them. Don't feel like it's for us. Mama God says the insurrection was fueled by fear. We saw that play out in a mass and destructive way. There's one of the things I think there was. That's interesting. I consider that because I saw that the insurrection is privilege. I, I saw them as them thinking they can change something that they didn't like, and as opposed to fear. They wasn't fearing that Biden was going to come in and take their lifestyle away. They were mad that Trump didn't get in. You know what I'm saying? That was, to me, that was anger and privilege that fueled that. Can't really comment on. I can't really see what they were, what the insurrectionists was afraid of. The changing of the guard over to Biden wasn't that big of a deal. Tony Johnson. Yeah, Tony Johnson says, read history books. These wars taking place now are a small percent of what is actually going on. Billions spent, and that is just what we only know about.
Yep.
Earlier you was talking about how there's too many. He says, RG in the chat says, how many white folks that y'all grew up with now live in small town USA? They prefer to be surrounded by nothing but other than white folks, and that's for fear written all over it. Earlier, there was a comment I can't find now that talked about the enemies that folks have. They got too many. They start too many wars and enemies. They got too many enemies around the world to be worried about black folks. They feel like black folks are their enemy too, though. They are nervous about the stuff that they've done to people all around the world and whether or not they're going to retaliate, 9/11 and so on and so forth. They're just as scared there. But we've been public enemy number one since back in the day. They're just as scared of black folks inside the country as they are, like Arab people, for instance, coming and bombing something or making a 9/11 happen. We've been public enemy number one when the FBI got formed. So
the fear of a black messiah,
man. Anyway, moving on. It's 8:26 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we definitely want to get to the work that Senator Terrell McKinney has been working on and doing, and just the fact that setting up for this discussion on the legislative session. Who's keeping track? Who's going down? Who's watching it on the TV? Kimra is talking about going down to the session and bringing some folks. So we definitely want to keep that energy up, boost to the roots, getting people down to fight for some bills and to help oppose other bills, and give Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Justin Wayne some support for the work that they're doing down there. Because as we saw last session, doesn't seem like they have a whole lot of help. So we definitely want to help that. We found out how to do that last season. And we definitely talked about putting boots to the roots this season. And if anybody has free time to be able to go to the legislature and fight, go ahead. We also know that you can send letters if you don't have time to go up. We went through the process about being able to send letters, and we'll do that again in order to really kind of help some of that stuff. But Brother Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney, really put it out there for us easily to see what it is that he's going to be pushing and working on and getting behind. He put some graphics out lately, and if you want to jump into that article, I can pull those up.
Yeah, go ahead and pull up those, and then I definitely, we can talk about what's going on with the bills that he's already, pushed as far as LB 1024 and these funds moving from the state to a possible inland port authority, which is something that he's been talking about, him and Senator Wayne have been talking about lately. But big shout out to Senator McKinney. He's been dropping these for quite some time, man. As far as just these updates. So big shout out to him for keeping the communication going even beyond what he does with us here on First Guy. But yeah, here are a couple bills that he will be pushing. Again, LB 1225, appropriate funds to the Nebraska Commission on Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice, going along some of the other bills that, again, Senator Wayne or Senator McKinney is pushing to again, still push on this whole criminal justice reform fight that's been really going on for several years. So big shout out to him for continuing on the march with that. And then now LB 1278, which is a bill to provide for reimbursement of dollar and full spectrum dollar services, doula services under the medical assistance program.
That's what's up.
Yeah, this is something we don't really talk about here a lot. But in light of some of the changes, with Roe v. Wade and some of the abortion and women's health changes, we don't really talk about the level of deaths and just the complications surrounding, especially quote unquote women of color who go into hospitals to give birth and sometimes don't come out. So again, having a doula, having somebody there with you to kind of be an advocate to help you through the process, definitely is a big thing. So big shout out Senator McKinney for that.
Yep. Here's another sheet that he put out there with a couple more things that he's talking about. LB 840, adopt the poverty.
Yeah, poverty elimination action plan.
Action plan. Yep. So that's a great one. We need to talk to him about what that plan is. Maybe take a look at that action plan. Love to do that. Adopt the poverty elimination action plan. Also, LB 843, change provisions of the Middle Income Workforce Housing Investment Act. I think that's a very important one too. We always talk about middle income. We talk about the workforce, how you can afford to be living and being in housing. You're having housing and being able to provide for yourself. The provisions for Middle Income Workforce Housing Investment Act. There's a lot of things that we need when it comes to this concern. Being able to invest in these things. I like what the provisions are now. I remember reading about this before. I can't remember exactly what they are now, but there were provisions that they're there now, but they needed those provisions to be changed. So we'll talk to him more about that for sure. Also, LB 881, redefine a term under the Middle Income Workforce Housing Investment Act. So he's really going after this middle income housing workforce. Yeah, man, there's some needed changes here, and these are not all that he's pushing. These are just a couple of them, a couple of sheets full. So I think Kimra Snipes earlier put a post up on Friends of First Sky Omaha where she was saying, shout out to the senators, man, that are they're putting in the work, all the stuff that we know it takes to be a person that goes up to the legislature every day, also has to pay your own bills and make your own way. And all the work that it takes to do that, and then to go up there and to have several bills that you're trying to push in order to make things better and get them in front of people so that people can really back them and see them and get some votes on them. A lot of work. A lot of people are going up there. A lot of senators go up there and kind of just ride and slide, maybe push one or two things, but these brothers are pushing several things, both Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. So shout out to them for the work they're doing. Again, we will have them back on the show on a regular basis here weekly so they can give us a little legislative update, report on these things. And if you have questions, you can get those ready to ask them about these things. And also, we'll continue to encourage people to put boots to the roots and go up and help fight with some of these things as well.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to give a shout out real quick in the chat. Sister Tamika in the chat. Tamika Renee says NOCP, the North Omaha Community Partnership. Big shout out to y'all. She says is thankful for Senator Terrell McKinney for advocating for us in the work we are doing. Nice. Hashtag LB1225. So definitely big shout out to NOCP and the work that they're doing. I would definitely have to get you on here soon, Sister Tamika. Whenever you're ready. To kind of speak about the work and how people can assist, how we can get down with the work. So again, big shout out. Also in the chat, Marianne Williams saying it's important to go to the legislature and comment on the bills when you can't. Next week there are several that will affect our lives significantly. So definitely things to look out for. We haven't really been talking about this as much, but this is another bill that we should be looking out for. Of course, LB 620, I think, is the name. Again, we kind of talked about it last episode, the bill that would effectively give the ability for 12-year-olds to be hit with felonies. Basically eliminating their ability to work before they're even old enough to get a job or vote before they're old enough to vote. Very interesting. And also the bill included the ability to detain 9-year-olds. So again, a lot of trauma for our young folks. We definitely have to look out for that. So if anybody is paying attention to any other bills outside of what Senator McKinney and Senator Wayne are doing, we should definitely talk about that and be made aware of it. So,
so as you can see, bills that we need to be helping push and bills we need to be helping oppose.
Yep.
Again, shout out to Marianne Williams. Really keeps us abreast of like a lot that's going on in the legislature. We might need to have a Marianne Williams report going on here. She's always letting us know what's happening. She says next week there will be several that will affect our lives significantly. Love to hear about which ones you feel like those are. Let us know which ones those are, how it'll affect our lives. She says bills to adopt changes to school psychologists and counselors will impact school to prison pipeline. So giving us a little bit of stuff there. That's what's up.
It kind of reminded me of what Sister Kimber was talking about last episode with the mental health of our youth in DCYC and in schools and things like that. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, any of those that comes up, I know that you'll drop those in Friends of First Sky Omaha. So thanks in advance for that. And again, anybody else that are paying attention to these bills, let us know which ones you are personally affected by, which ones you think we need to be fighting for or fighting against. And then we will be able to ask some questions of the senators when they come on about all these things, and find out where everybody stands on everything and what it all means. That's kind of the big part of the discussion for me is like, what does it mean for us?
Yeah.
What does it mean for our kids? You know what I mean?
Coming to an understanding, and that's definitely one of the questions we had. There were a lot of questions about the Inland Port Authority and what does that all mean? What does that all look like? What would that all entail? And this is another big bill that we should definitely be looking out for. It's officially been introduced. Again, there's been conversation about it for quite some time now, this Inland Port Authority, at least a couple months. But Senator McKinney did introduce also LB 164 is the name, and that would switch the bill to focus primarily on making changes on existing law on inland port authorities. The original bill, McKinney said, was related to building codes, but the same measures are already on the books and a different bill. An inland port authority, again, is an area controlled by an independent board that can engage in marketing, issue and sell bonds, and acquire property. In 2021, the Nebraska legislature did pass a bill from Senator Wayne at the time that allowed up to 5 inland port authorities to be set up within the state. Since then, several authorities have already been established, actually. Among other changes, McKinney's amendment would increase the maximum number of inland port authorities from 5 to 7, and that some authorities are in operation. He said that has increased the demand for them in other areas. So again, there's been talk about Inland Port Authority coming to the airport, North Omaha, Northeast Omaha area. Again, still people looking out to see who would be on that board. What is the process of getting on the board? Who can, kind of apply, who can't. So we will definitely continue to look out for that situation and hopefully be able to get more answers now that an official bill has been introduced from Senator McKinney. But again, this deals with the Department of Economic Development funds in LB 1024. And again, this is kind of the preliminary work of getting the foundation set and getting the actual organization set up. And then, of course, as we know, there will be a move to try to get those funds from the DED into this Inland Port Authority. Again, talking about some odd $400 million that is currently going to state and federal funds for the DED. So in control of those funds, will there be a fight between this Inland Port Authority and the DED? We'll have to see. But again, some chess being played in a major way.
Big time. Highly suggest that you go to Senator McKinney's page on Facebook. I put the link in the chat. Excuse me, in the chat. He is always posting about bills and the progression of things. He's even got a report card on there. Excuse me. He even has a report card on there to check out. I think it's really interesting. And he's also reposting the articles that are attached to some of these things that he's fighting. Nebraska Examiner, of course, has been covering a lot. New intern director of Nebraska African American Commission sees pace picking up. Also, the editorial on demolishing old prisons would hold officials accountable. That's from Journal Star. The journalstar.com article. So a lot of these things he's putting on his site, definitely check his page out, and you can kind of keep up with some of the things as well. Nebraska Public Media talking about reparations for slavery, about abolition, abolition of tenure among proposals. So that's really kind of an interesting article as well. But yeah, like I said, a lot there. He has a lot of information on there to catch up with. Really consolidates it. I get a little overwhelmed when I'm looking at the legislative page.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of bills always being introduced here, but I go to Terrell McKinney's, Senator McKinney's Facebook page just so I can kind of get he kind of curates some of the things that are we are like mind on a lot of things. So
Yeah.
definitely check
Big,
that
kind of making it more digestible, a brief, if you will. So
There you
yeah,
go.
big shout out to Senator McKinney, always again communicating even beyond what he does here. And letting the people know what's going on, because
Yeah,
again, not a lot of senators are doing that. They're almost very secretive about what's going on, man. So again, big shout out to the dynamic duo, as we like to call Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne.
for sure, for sure. Speaking of letting the people know about what's going on, this has been floating around a lot lately.
Mm.
This breaking news. There's a meeting that's happening today. This is happening on at 5:30 this evening, from 5:30 to 7. The public is invited to a community meeting. The community meeting is being held to address the community's family members, and residents' concerns about the properties of the Omaha Housing Authority. This is a very important situation going on here. I'm glad to see this happening. Somebody is hosting a meeting where people can get together and talk about the problems of OHA. In the thing that stood out to me in bold, names do not have to be given, and no media cameras will be allowed.
Man.
You know what this is implying? They want people to come and talk about the problems of OHA without the fear of being evicted or retaliated against or any of that. This is your opportunity to voice your concerns without any retaliation or fear of being forced out of your housing. Invited guests are Mrs. Denise Gibson, Director of Public Housing at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, National HUD representatives, and local Omaha Housing Authority representatives who want to hear from you. They will be listening to you. Also, information regarding the minimum rent and qualifying rent hardships for tenants of public housing will be available. In addition, an update regarding the Spencer Street housing demolition project will be discussed as well. Do not miss the chance to let your say be heard. So this is one of them things, man. This is one of those things. We talk about Boost to the Roots. We've done some work last season. Shout out to Amy H. Kimmer Snipes, Precious McKesson, the people that went to some of the OHA buildings to make sure that people with the bed bugs and stuff had resources. We've been keeping this in mind, and we've been trying to help some of these situations out. Shout out to them for doing that stuff. And here we are now. There's an opportunity for you to speak up and speak out, and especially if you're in one of these properties. But if you have family members of these properties too, you can also come and speak up. So definitely take advantage of this. Meet at the Essential Gathering Place. That's 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha. I'm glad to see this building being used for such an important meeting here. So that's what's up. So thank you for everybody who has put this in, Friends of First Sky Omaha, that sent this in private messages to me, and everything everywhere else that this was going. This is definitely floating around. It's not a mainstream piece because they really want to make sure that people can remain anonymous when they're making their complaints. So there's no retaliation, and they made it really clear that this is how they're going to be handling this. So we can't even be there with our cameras or anything. It's just going to be a straight discussion, and hopefully they got the right people in there that can hear what the community needs and pay attention to that. What they and do something about it is the main thing.
Right, like y'all, you call it a real talk, real time. And there's some real time for some real talk. So. Hopefully, some things like you said can be done. Some progress can be made, and some changes can be made. I do also want to give a shout out to Brother Sherman Wells and Sister Celeste Butler for the work that they were doing and bringing attention to what's going on with the Spencer situation. And if you remember, again, we've seen, if you've driven up and down 30th around the Spencer projects, you see kind of some of the work being done on the 30th side, but on the other side of the interstate, I believe they call it Spencer East. Those buildings are still just sitting there wide open. So. Again, hopefully there will be some answers for that tonight as well. And a big shout out again to Brother Sherman Wells and Sister Celeste Butler for that work.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, the Essential Gathering Place, 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha. This is happening tonight at 5:30. Just show up and please speak out. Speak up.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. All right. So, before we move on, I did want to also throw in that this is a story that we didn't really get to last time, but since we're kind of on the heels of this talk about the article with the Inland Port Authority, there is apparently some more funds possibly coming to North Omaha for the North Omaha Development Grant. And that we need to talk about, Nebraska Governor Omaha Mayor announces $124 million in North Omaha development grant. That's coming out of KETV News 7. Again, we did not get to get into this Monday, but something that we're definitely wanting to talk about. Again, the state of Nebraska will be investing $24 million into the Omaha Airport Business Park and Levi Carter Community Center. Through the leadership of Senator Wayne and Senator McKinney, they saw the opportunities to drive this site development in North Omaha. Omaha Greater Chamber CEO Heath Mello is reported saying about $90 million will be spent on developing the land for the business park to make it shovel ready, quote unquote, for companies to set up shop. The goal is to attract industrial manufacturing jobs and make space for local businesses to expand. Stothard also says we've been talking about what we can do to create more jobs and now have more opportunity for industry, and this is it. She says, Mello also says, to attract the national board, they need space, and they found it in North Omaha, saying we have no sites right now in Omaha. If we go meet with the company, we can't bring them to Omaha because there are no sites for them to bring them. At Carter Lake Park, the city will also be building an indoor-outdoor athletics facility with soccer fields, basketball, and volleyball courts. This project will cost about $35 million to build. This investment is going to be incredible for kids and is going to be incredible for families, according to Governor Pillen. So, again, if any of you have strolled down to the lake on Sundays, you definitely know that that pavilion down there, the park down there, the space down there can definitely use a facelift, kind of use a upgrade. And again, Levi Carter Lake and that park. I definitely, am excited to see what they do with that. Hopefully, there won't be any scrutiny or any changes. And, when people go down to the lake on Sundays, when the community goes down there, I wonder if there will, be any issues after this project is complete. We'll see how the city, kind of protects its new asset. If you kind of catch my drift.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah. Just I'm just hoping Sundays at the lake gets to continue with the new amenities.
Yeah. Let's see. 8:46 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and jump into some haps as well. A few more things to discuss. Love to hear from you on this. Looks like some of the messaging has stopped, and I don't know if it's the program or not. Nope. Okay, here you go. Tony Johnson said, "Just look at Leahy Mall." Okay, got it. Whew. All right. Thanks for thanks for commenting right there, because I was getting ready to panic again. Like, oh no, we lost the chat again.
Man, it's been acting weird, y'all. So thank you for bearing with us. Y'all definitely have been chiming up. So we appreciate it. And again, if we missed any of your comments, we apologize. Right. Bear with us. The tech is not really teching today. So yeah, we're gonna make it happen though. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Whoo, listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Man, rough day today with this tech, Paul.
Yeah, man.
Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Trying to monitor, make sure you're not looking crazy, sounding crazy. Let us know, man. Y'all let us know.
Please do. Shout out to Paul Philman, who is a person who contributes to Friends of First Sky Omaha and is also a chat chimer. Really appreciate him putting this out here. If anybody needs any utility assistance, there's some things out there for you. So all communities outreach services put this together. MUD and OPPD utility assistance, proof of income if you have it, proof of unexpected expense, proof of HH members' names only. What does provide HH members? I don't know what that is.
Household.
Okay, provide household members' names only. Okay, HH. All right. Photo ID. Walk-ins welcome on Tuesday through Thursday from 9:30 to 2, and Thursday 5 to 7. Friday closed. We are located at 112 East Mission Avenue in Bellevue. The number over there is 402-257-1122. So check it out if you need assistance. This might be something that can help you out there. I know that utility bills are very expensive right now. People have had to have their heat on a constant basis during this Arctic tundra. So shout out, man. Shout out. Anytime I see anything like this where people can get a little bit of help, I'm like, let's put it up. Let's put it up because especially MUD, they be getting you.
Man,
You're getting hit by MUD, bro.
Taxing.
You're getting hit. So anyway, if anybody else has any other resources out there to help people that are in need of help with their utility bills or rent or anything like that, let us know. There's always programs. It's a nonprofit town. There's always programs out here everywhere. So let us know about them if you come across them, and we'll definitely post those for people that might need that help, including myself.
Man, I mean, especially time like now, the last thing you want is, MUD cutting off your gas or something because you didn't pay. You know what I mean? It's not the time for that. And I'm sure there are, stipulations still for certain temperature levels where they're not legally allowed to do that. But yeah. I don't know if you heard about that. There's certain temperature. Yeah, there's certain temperature levels, even if for, not paying. If it's colder than a certain point, legally they can't really cut off your gas. I mean, let me know if that's still a thing or if I'm misspeaking. But as far as I know, that's been a thing. So
that's good to know.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, suggest somebody test it out, not going to pay the bill. Like, hey, it's cold, don't cut me off. But again, for those who might find themselves in that situation, there is assistance out there for you. So big shout out to Paul Philman for dropping that on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cold out there, y'all.
Cold. I just want to remind people we are in season 7. This is actually the second episode of season 7. And our theme this season is the love supreme. We talk about a lot of those things. We talk about that everything is really based out of love. All action really stems from love. We want to just keep reiterating the fact that every time we're talking about any of these problems or we're talking about holding people accountable, or it's all coming from a place of love for the black community, love for Omaha, love for North Omaha especially too. There's a lot of things that are going on here all the time. And the only reason why you speak up about them or try to do something about them or put boots to the roots when it comes to try to changing laws or do like the BAA does, putting boots to the roots on actually helping kids directly and communities directly, right in the streets. You know what I'm saying? That all comes from love. It all comes from love for your community. So we appreciate everybody who is with us on that tip. Kind of goes without saying. It's kind of something that we just don't know. We don't necessarily always have to say it. We all kind of know that we're on the same page. We're all here because we care. But it's good to be able to acknowledge it this time and in that way and be a love warrior, an art warrior, and really kind of use that energy to put boots to the roots to make some change. So that's what we're all about. Just want to remind people about that. Shout out to Katie Rain who came in and said good morning.
Yeah, showing us some love. Speaking of love.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you coming on in, showing some love. Mama God in the chat says, no, they can't turn it off when temp runs dangerously high or low for a period of time. But as soon as it drops below that threshold, your service will be discontinued. You will need to pay the bill in full and reconnect fees. Remember that.
There you go.
Said, don't test it out.
Yeah, don't test it. Again, I'm letting you know if you find yourself in that situation and they do cut you off and it is below the threshold, you do have a space to speak up and kind of get some help in that situation. But again, if you don't gotta test those waters, don't. Yeah, don't call up there and say, well, Buddy said, nah, that ain't it.
Don't put that on First Sky.
Yeah.
There's plenty of resources out there that you can get help before you get to the point where things get cut off. So definitely, if you know of any, go ahead and make sure you put those in. Love to spread that around. Make sure everybody gets the message on that. So
yeah, man,
that's what's up. Lots to talk about when it comes to this legislative session, when it comes to this voting season. Just to name a few people that we're talking about having on the show. We're still trying to get some folks on the show. Chris Rogers, we're gonna try to bring on this season. We also are starting our segment, so we'll definitely have Brianna Full on to talk a little bit about what's going on with her and her new position, and also she's on the school board as well too, so she'll give us some reports there. Kimra Snipes has been doing the work. She has really been putting in the work, man. One Omaha is doing great things. She personally is doing great things, and so we'll definitely be having a Kimra report going on. Whitney Richardson is going to be firing her podcast back up and have some political commentary for us as well to come onto the show. Trying to bring a little bit of a Women's Wednesday back on the show this season as well. So, and like I said, bear with us on all kinds of. We're going to be doing a lot of different kinds of things this season. It's kind of the season of creativity for us. So we'll be trying a lot of new things. We'll be eliminating some programs, bringing on some different programs, just trying to make it easier for us to be the kind of people that can talk and have these conversations and really kind of get your comments in on the conversation. So we definitely want to do that. RG says, hold up now. So, but Buddy said, can't get you no movement in these Omaha streets. Well, Buddy said, so, you might never know.
You might.
Never know.
Depending on where you're using it, you never know.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody. Those of you that already consider yourselves Chat Chimers, this is one of the things that we're going to do this season as well. We're really going to tighten up this Chat Chimers Club. So those of you that are regular in being on the chat, with people that we call our co-hosts, people that really contribute, we're gonna start a little thing where we're gonna really kind of hold everybody accountable on the chat. We're gonna make sure that we can all get together, live alive with one another. We're gonna make some things official so that when we do our reporting, we can say, hey, we got some constituents in our neighborhoods that are saying this, saying that. Some of the things that we're going to bring out are some of the chats, some of the comments that you guys make when it comes to our news reports as well. So lots of things to come when it comes to that part. And I really appreciate everybody who's just naturally kind of come in and decided they wanted to be a part of the conversation and add to the chat when we're live and also when we're not live on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So I suggest that everybody who considers themselves an OG Chat Chimer, make sure that you're coming over on to YouTube because as Buddy was saying earlier, Facebook's days is numbered.
Yeah, count your days. Also, I want to address Brother Tony Johnson in the chat saying, will the First Guy Omaha page be more open this year to share opinions and comments without having to be approved by one person, or better clarity on what is allowed and not allowed? I appreciate the question and appreciate the way you framed the question because we do want to find ways to have more freedom, have more open conversation where people feel comfortable, but coming with that is also safeguarding what you said, what is allowed and what is not allowed. We are definitely trying to safeguard ourselves from trolls. I'm sure some of you have seen some of the unsavory content that has made its way on our Friends Of page over the years, and a big shout out, namely to Paul, for keeping that clean. But we are looking for ways to safeguard ourselves. There will be some community guidelines coming down the pipe during the season, and just finding better ways to maintain this community that we're building. We definitely appreciate everybody's willingness to have these conversations, and we want to continue to have these conversations and allow growth for these conversations. But you got to know with growth comes trolls and comes people not really about it. So yes, we're definitely working on how to better, facilitate that kind of environment, if you will.
Absolutely, and we will continue to approve comments for sure.
Yeah.
We went a long time with not doing that. It was just kind of anybody can come on and say anything, free for all, and that turned a lot of people away because of, like Buddy was saying, trolls, or not only trolls, but just people that were not really going with the style that we're trying to do this with and going the wrong direction. And turning the page into something that was unwelcoming to everybody being able to comment on the page, and it turned into a thing where we had to start approving comments, approving posts on our situation, so we can reflect what First Sky Omaha is about. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to continue that. I wish we didn't, because it's an extra step,
more work.
So it's an extra hours in the day. But unfortunately, we tried it one way, and we're going to have to monitor it a little bit more closely. If we had a bigger crew, we would have somebody on that would be monitoring all the incoming everything when it comes to all of it. Just like how we used to have at the radio station. You're supposed to have somebody on the line that can field the calls and send the ones through that we need to send through and filter out the ones we need to filter out. Same thing with the social media posts. So yeah, appreciate that. Like I said, this is the reason why we're taking that extra step this season to really define and refine who the chat chimers are. Really put some effort in the chat chimers club and hold everybody accountable, but also put some perks out there, man. Make it so that the chat chimers get rewarded for the work that you guys do live and on Friends of, and some other places that we're going to open up for people to be able to have the discussion. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we're working on this season to really kind of creatively refine everything that we're working on and doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
There you go.
It is 9:00 as I just looked over right now. The time just gets away from us, but if you believe in the concept of time, it is 9 here. It's not 9 where Buddy's at. It ain't 9.
10.
Yeah. So, but we did agree that at 9:00 Central Standard Time, we would we would end this. So no real time for the halves. We already really kind of talked about some of them. Get your tickets for the meeting that's happening at Benson Theater, January 14th and 15th. Go to bensontheater.org. Check that out.
Already passed.
What?
Today's the 17th.
Oh yeah. My bad. I got the old flyer. So because of the weather, 14th to 15th.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Back a week. Yeah. So I'll get the right flyer with it. Go to bensontheater.org and get the new dates for that.
Okay.
We'll definitely check that out. But don't forget today, very important meeting today at the Essential Gathering Place happening 5001 North 42nd Street. That's happening tonight at 5:30. If you or any family members are involved or live in the OHA situation, you have Omaha Housing Authority buildings or properties that having some issues, and you want to speak out about those issues, please come and do this. It'll be you can be worry free when you do it because they're setting this up so there'll be no retaliation or fear of being forced out of your housing when you come to complain about some things and speak up about the things that are happening there. Names do not have to be given, and no media cameras will be allowed. So definitely take the advantage of going and speaking up about some of the issues that's been happening on some of the Omaha Housing Authority properties. There'll be people there that'll listen to you, people that can do something about the issues that you're having there. So definitely take advantage of that. And then, of course, one last thing, we have Brother Preston Love, who is making his announcement and kickoff of his run for U.S. Senate. He's going to be running against Pete Ricketts.
Man,
it's always a great thing.
Yeah.
So support the elders. Go to the venue at Highlander, 2120 North 30th Street. This happening this morning, 11:00. Check it out. To RSVP for more information, go to mike@loveforsenate.com, and you can RSVP there or call 402-515-1442. Or if you don't have time to do all the RSVP, and just show up. You know where it's at. Venue at Highlander. And join them for the kickoff. Somebody needs to run against Pete Ricketts, so we appreciate that the elder Love is going to. Yep. So there you go. Those are kind of what's going on right now. We'll continue to have a more extensive haps on Friday. If you have haps, please put them in the chat or put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We would love to entertain that and let people know what's going on, especially when it's something that's really important for our community in those ways. So we appreciate that very much. RG says they should run the meeting back in February for the so-called Black History Month.
Okay.
They were trying to run it for Martin Luther King birthday. That's why they chose those dates. But everybody was all snowed in, so they had to push it back a week. So yeah, go to Omaha. bensontheater.org to get the new dates for that. So
maybe May again. May 19th is Brother Malcolm's birthday. May 19th is Brother Malcolm's birthday. So.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're probably not there. Yeah. This is gonna be next week. It's coming up. Anyway, with that said, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Really appreciate everybody that joined us today and bear with us through the 9:00 hour, and everybody who contributed and and helped us with the chat situation that we had today, which was messed up.
Yeah. It was weird, especially at the beginning. I guess it wanted to start working towards the end, but. Thanks y'all for the love. Wanda Lewis saying great show. Pop said great show. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, we really appreciate y'all. I mean, that's really it. Again, we're doing a lot of changes this season, in this season 7, looking to expand, looking to grow, looking to switch up. Don't want to get too stagnant, man. So it's all about progression. So we're gonna keep on moving, and we appreciate all of you who are moving with us. Definitely continue to tell a friend so we can grow. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. In the meantime, between time, catch the same time on Friday. Paul B.
Message.
Take it away.
Shout out to everybody who's giving us love. Appreciate that very much. And always remember, mija, if a tortilla can rise, so can you.
Hey, motivation.
We're going to get out of here. We'll see you. We're going to give a shout out to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And we want to give a shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thank you very much for the conversation and for the good comments, the good questions, and the good insights. Really, really appreciate that very, very, very much.
Yeah, man.
Wanda Lewis says, great show. Mama God says, good times. I heard that.
Yes.
Brooke came in to say goodbye. So, hi and bye.
I think that was a bye to your tortilla meme.
Dang. Anyway, yes. One more thought to leave y'all with. Malcolm X said, we are not outnumbered, we're out organized.
There you go.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Put the team together, put boots to the roots, and do it all from a platform of love.
There you go.
Love Supreme season 7 is going on right now. Bear with us. Ride with us. It's going down. You guys have a good one. We'll see you Friday.
Peace.
By the way, Van Glorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad with the key.
Find any